Well, what madness. What madness is happening here? Do you realize what time it is? You've got to be shitting me. No, I'm not. I'm just, hang on. I'm really not shitting you, that is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gabbing Games. Now, let me put myself in the call-in waiting room if you want to call in, yada, yada, yada. Do that if you want. I want to tell you, call-in show channel. Okay, there we go. I want to tell you, tonight I just kind of figured, fuck it, let's do a late show. I thought it was a fun stream with Next Gen 720 with Z, all about aliens and God and things from outer space. It was very, very cool. And then I did some videos today, and the family came over tonight. We watched Ted Lasso for a bit. Then afterwards, I was like, well, I think I'm ready for bed. And I'm like, nope. I got some streaming left in me. And there is some news we should talk about. I mean, the fact of the matter is I should not send you to bed. And I know you're out there now. You're driving to work, or you're coming home from work, or whatever it is the fuck you're doing with your day. But I should not send you to bed tonight without giving you the skinny. I'm gonna call it. On the Starfield. We're going to talk about Starfield being delayed. No one has said, what? No one has said it's being delayed. Of course not. In fact, Todd Howard, the director of Starfield, did an AMA on Reddit yesterday or today and said, no. I feel confident about the schedule. Okay, that's great. But he said some stuff yesterday, and I'm going to play the clip for you in a little bit, that was just a little bit weird to me. A little bit fucking weird to me. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about sales on PlayStation and what it means for a couple of games that I know a lot of people are curious about. We're going to talk about Halo and this Christmas. There's a lot of fun stuff to chat about. So hit me up in the chat if you want to talk. Hit me up on the phone if you want to call. And we will just begin our show. Here we go. Let me get a little sip of the bubbly. One moment, please, fellas. I almost sent out an email or a tweet and said, we're going to go about 20 minutes later because I'm dying for orange juice. I've been drinking orange juice like a fiend. What does it mean? What does it mean? I looked it up. I'm like, oh, shit. That must mean I got some kind of disease and some such shit. But I went to the doctor this week. She looked at my blood. She says, no, you're good. You got a little of this, a little of that, but nothing serious. So, it could just be I'm craving some fucking vitamin C, baby. You know what she said was low, though? You know what she told me? She says to me, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody with this low of this in your blood work. And I says, well, what is it, doc? Is it Loserville potion? Because I'm not a loser, that means it's low, right, doc? And she just looked at me. She's like, fuck you, Jaffe. No, it wasn't that. It was vitamin D. She said my vitamin D it's supposed to be at 50. And she says my vitamin D was at 9. And I said, is that bad? She says, I've never seen it that low, and I've been practicing medicine for quite some time. So... we got to get on that. So I started taking vitamin D yesterday. We'll see what happens. Hello, Ricardo Estevez. Hello, Wolfblood. It means you're taking Spazbo. He's been a member of our merry band of fucksticks for 1 year. 1 year. Thank you, buddy, for that support. I appreciate it very, very much, sir. Being a key member of our community. I don't know what's happening with the stream. Is it working? Is it not working? I don't fucking know. You guys tell me. Is the stream bottom out? In the meantime, Optimus Backsweat, what's up, pal? He says, I'm an insider, and Starfield is canceled. It's not canceled, but it may very well be delayed. But no one is saying this. There's just, I'm going to play you what I heard, and you tell me what you think. But I thought it was pretty strange that after Todd Howard came out and said it, and nobody's talking about it. Thank you for that, Optimus Back. I appreciate it, buddy. Any side effects from taking vitamin D? No. I made sure to ask. I'm like, hey, what are the side effects of this? She's like, none. You'll just get more vitamin D. Okay, well, I'm glad it's running well. Let's talk about video game news, shall we? Here we go. I want to tell you the first thing I want to talk to you fine motherfuckers about today. Okay, I'm not gonna change the screen. Ricardo, who's a journalist. Ricardo, I will share with you what I found, and you tell me as a journalist what you think, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I'm not going to show you the screen because I don't want to give away the guy's name. I'm not trying to shame the guy. But I just wanted to point this out. I did a post or a video the other day about Forza and about all of its cool metagame and just all of the stuff you can do in the game outside of the moment-to-moment racing. And this one guy wrote into me on the YouTube channel. He says, as an Xbox guy, I am finally pleased AAA games are coming to Xbox. It looks like it's the best since it's been since 360. I am finally, this is the line that got me, that kind of got my dander up. He says, I am finally proud to say I am an Xbox owner. And I just took that as disturbing. And I looked at a bunch of the comments and no one called him out on it, so maybe it's just me. But I think that's just so unhealthy. You know? I mean, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm not trying to say I'm the healthiest guy in the world mentally, so I know everything. And if you have any kind of, blip on your mental health, haha, you're a loser. I'm not sort of peacocking by way of mocking someone else. It's just really, it seems drastically unhealthy to use the phrasing and to believe the phrasing that because a box that you bought now has some games that are becoming looked at by society or people who are into video games as good games, great games. He now is proud to say he owns an Xbox. I mean, maybe it was just a weird phrase and he should have said something else, but I bring it up because I see a lot of people online that are like this. This is kind of goes back to that fanboy culture, that sense of ownership and a sense of the actual box really affecting your state of mind, and really affecting, how well it's doing affects your mental state and how good you feel about yourself. That's weird, man. That's unhealthy. I got nothing more to say about it. I wanted to bring it to your attention to get a sense of if you were watching this and you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, that doesn't feel as good as it should. Something feels a little broken about that. Now, maybe he's just a fucking kid. I don't know. But it seems a little unhealthy. But speaking of Xbox, there was a really cool article today. I want to show it to you. That's not the article. Hang on, you old knuckleheads. The article today was on VG 24/7, okay? And the headline was very provocative. It says, if Xbox can't beat PS5 this holiday, I'm not sure it ever will. And it is written by Tom Orey, the editor-in-chief. And he goes on to talk about the fact that Xbox is having a moment, he says. He says, you've got Forza, which is a Game of the Year candidate. You've got Psychonauts, which is a Game of the Year candidate. Anybody who played the Halo beta knows that Halo multiplayer, at least, is back on track. Who knows about the campaign? And then that's not to mention the bevy. And then there's Flight Sim. And then the bevy of just third-party, like Back 4 Blood games and independent games that are awesome. He says, look, especially given that PlayStation 5 is having such a shit holiday season, and they are, their biggest thing, I think he said, was Deathloop. And we'll talk about Deathloop on the sales charts in a couple of minutes. But it is interesting that, again, I don't even know if it matters if they beat PS5. What is that really going to mean? We wake up, when the numbers come out mid-January and go, wow, Xbox sold 4,000 more copies or units of hardware than who gives a shit, right? PlayStation has an amazing lineup coming the first 6 months of 2022. I think it's more interesting, though, because it really is, as a guy who really believes, even though I love all my systems equally. Well, I love my PlayStation 5 and my Xbox equally. I'm not that big of a Switch guy. But as a guy who loves both those systems equally, I don't really care. But I'm a big believer in Phil Spencer's vision for what he's doing at Xbox, specifically as it relates to Game Pass, as people know. And so, yeah, I mean, even though, Forza's awesome, by the way, I love it, but it's not, it's not the kind of game I care too much about. It's a little too simmy for me, but I'm enjoying it. I don't know, man. I think he has a point. If this Christmas does not see Game Pass, whether you're playing it on Xbox or you're streaming it or you're playing it on a PC, it doesn't see Xbox and Game Pass really moving the needle. I don't know what morale would be like when you come back at Microsoft after the holidays, because what else would you have these motherfuckers do? You've got Psychonauts, that's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. You've got Forza 5, that's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. You've got Halo, which will definitely be nominated for Shooter of the Year, Online Game of the Year, just based on what we've played already in the beta. Who knows? I don't think the campaign's going to be that great based on the trailer, but and then you've got all these other great games. I just, if you go back to work and you look at the numbers and you work at Microsoft or you're Phil Spencer and you're going, wow, okay, well, we didn't lose any subscribers, but we only got like a 20% bump over the holidays. I don't know how you stay motivated to do that job. At that point, you're like, here, throw in the towel. Let somebody else run this fucking division, because if the players aren't showing up to buy that, right? What would they show up for? Deathloop gets old fast, says Eddie C. I agree. Cool concept, looks and sounds good, but it was just all right. 7 out of 10. We'll talk about sales in just a second. Right, Ricardo, you're absolutely right. Ricardo, bring that up again when we talk about Todd Howard in just a little bit. Just a little bit. Halo seems so meh to me. Am I alone? Says Frank. Frank, I am not a Halo guy. I have never been a Halo guy. But I will tell you, after playing the beta, and I don't want to, I don't want to be hyperbolic about the beta. I can just tell you that I played the beta and I had more fun playing that game than most shooters I've played in the last 5 years. I love the way Halo is tuned. I love the time to kill. I thought the grapple hook was a lot of fun, a fun mechanic. It just felt really, really, really good. But I agree. I mean, I don't think it does anything to, ignite someone's passion in the IP, but it is a lot of fucking fun. Mr. Rob says, It Takes Two should win Game of the Year. Why did y'all forget about It Takes Two? No one forgot about It Takes Two, but we're not talking about third-party games. We're talking about first-party games. But yeah, I think most people agree that It Takes Two will be on the list of most people's Game of the Year. I mean, as I say over and over, though, the Game of the Year list for most media people are stupid. I mean, if you want to call it console Game of the Year, I think that's great. But calling it Game of the Year when there have been some just classic PC indie games out this year, that's disrespectful to the art form, I think. Game Over Kid says Phil Spencer tweeted that Horizon is a hit, and even that it came on Game Pass, it sold the early access game really good. We'll talk about that as well in a second. But yeah, like Ricardo was saying, Forza 5 has 3 times the number of Forza 4, and it's the best Microsoft launch ever. That's what they have been announcing. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a sim racing guy. You guys know me. I like to play Hotshot Racing, and I like to play Dirt 5, and I've been obsessed with playing Forza because there's so much cool shit to do in it. I'm really enjoying it. Halo and Forza, says Legends, was better than Crackdown 3. Sure, Microsoft dropped the ball on that, and then that Dragon RPG game was dropped too. Yeah, I mean, they've struggled for a long time. Maybe they're out of the woods. If they can keep up this cadence, and their games, to be fair, their games are more, Xbox, if you guys remember the 360 and even Xbox, the very first one, when it was, there were times when it was neck and neck with PlayStation 2. I think it was 2, yeah. They did have their ear, or they had their, they read the tea leaves of what sort of bro American gamers wanted more than Sony did. And I think, not Psychonauts, but I think Forza, I think Halo, I think those are the kind of games that tend to be, obviously Call of Duty trumps all of that with these guys, but I think more people would be interested in a great multiplayer shooter over the long term than a great cinematic story game that you finish in a couple of days. But Again, I love both my systems. I'm not shitting on one or the other. I'm just saying it's interesting to see if these guys are capable of turning it on as they are and keeping it on. It's going to be a really interesting next couple years as we watch these systems kind of slugging out with each other. Kruger, hey buddy, he says, you ever play Brutal Legend? A+ soundtrack and boobage. I did play a little bit of Brutal Legend. The story goes, and it's absolutely true, that Tim Schafer pitched Brutal Legend to Santa Monica. And I says to the man, I'm such a fan of yours. Whatever you want to make, I will tell Sony they should make it. I said if it was up to me, I would take out the real-time strategy version of Brutal Legend, and he had no interest in doing that. And he went on and made it with somebody else. But I wanted him to just come make Brutal Legend without the RTS shit and just be like, let's just do that. But yeah, I played a little bit. I need to go back and actually play the whole thing. I set up Forza 5 like I was maneuvering a moto. Not sure I get that. Microsoft mostly have their big franchises in order, but struggle with new IPs, says Legends. Yeah, we will see what's new soon. Hopefully, I heard December, the first 2 weeks in December, I heard they're going to have another showcase. I would have to assume what they're doing in that showcase is, going to be saying, hey, we know that Sony's got Horizon Forbidden West. We know they've got God of War. We know they've got Grain GT coming. Here's what we have coming the first 6 months of 2022. Because right now, nobody really fucking knows, man. Pause says, glad you're not a fanboy, Jaffe. Power to the non-fanboys. I'm a fan of games. I don't see how you could be a fan of anything else. Bad Boy Live, thank you, buddy. He's been a member of our little fuckstick band for 8 months. That's insane. Thank you, sir, for that support. He says, God bless those who remember arcades. That's me. Max Headroom. That's me. I remember him. And the developer's name, Psygnosis, Interplay, Cinemaware, and Silicon Dreams. I remember all of those except Silicon Dreams. I don't know if you're from England. That may be an English developer. I mean, so is Psygnosis, but I don't know what they've put out. I know Silicon and Synapse, which was an amazing developer before they became Blizzard. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Am I going to watch Shang-Chi? Yes, when it drops on Disney. You goddamn right, Caveman. I'm looking forward to it. Xbox's counter to God of War is Hellblade 2. I struggle with that statement you just made. My brain doesn't like it. I mean, I haven't played really enough Hellblade 1 to have much of an opinion, but they're very different games, aren't they? I mean, one is like almost more of a narrative walking sim action game, and God of War is more God of War. But we'll see. I need to play Hitman 3. Darth Nugget says Hitman 3 is my game of the year, if I'm being honest. Now, let me tell you guys something. Hang on. Oh my God, that's so good! Yeah, Heretic doesn't agree with you either. He says, I disagree heavily with Hellblade being compared to God of War. The Gunk, I'm excited about because it's from the same developer of, I believe, SteamWorld Dig, right? And that game's for free right now, SteamWorld Dig 2, which is one of the best Metroidvanias ever made. It is phenomenal. You can get it free over on Steam and I think a couple of other places. But now here's what I thought was so interesting. So, yeah, Caveman, they're slowly rolling out the dislike. He says, I can still dislike this video. I thought you said they were getting rid of it. They are, but it's happening slowly. It's not all happening. They don't flip a switch and it happens everywhere. My understanding is in a couple of weeks, it'll be gone pretty much everywhere. Okay, so this is interesting. So we know last generation, PlayStation didn't give a fuck about Xbox. They didn't give a fuck, right? But what is really fascinating is this. I'm not opposed to this. I think people should compete. But the fact that it looks like Sony is competing should tell you, right? I mean, maybe. I can't speak to this for sure. But it might tell you how worried Sony is. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to give you two examples. One of them happened just this week. The first one happened a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, the Halo Infinite campaign dropped on October 25th, and it was okay, right? The trailer, the preview, all that nonsense, it's fine. I'll play it. I'm excited for it. I didn't look at it like I looked at Horizon and like, whoa, that looks amazing graphically or story-wise, but it was cool. Well, right when they are dropping that trailer, Sony, if you remember, on the 25th, the exact same day, the same morning, drops new footage showing Alloy, whatever the fuck her name is, that, you know, showing all the new stuff that she can do, or a lot of the new stuff she can do in Horizon. And at first I was like, okay, that's pretty, it's both low class, but it's also pretty competitive and pretty smart. It's like, fuck, you know, they ain't playing. But then it happened again this week. So Forza is sitting at 92 Metacritic. You know, everybody's loving it. Everybody's talking about it. It's certainly, if nothing else, the game of the week. And it'll probably be the game of the month. And yesterday, when this dropped for everybody except people who had early access, the same goddamn day, Sony drops a Gran Turismo trailer. And it's like, I've never seen them this reactionary before. Or if I have, it hasn't been in a couple of generations. And I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's good. I think competition is good. I just think it's really interesting that, you know, suddenly Sony seems to be reacting and counterpunching, whereas last generation, it was almost like you're not even worth having the conversation with. It's like, yeah, whatever, Xbox, go do your thing. We're focused on, you know, making brilliance right now. So I'm just saying, and it is interesting. And what's also interesting is the footage that they choose for this game. I'm sorry. Look, I have a PS5. I fucking adore my PS5. I'm sorry. When you play this game, it is not going to look like this. I mean, maybe in replays, but, you know, this is so deceptive because when you watch if you don't know, if you're driving or listening, I'm showing footage of the new Gran Turismo 7 on PS5. The game will not look like this when you're playing it, right? But if you saw this and then you looked over at Forza 5, you'd go, wow, GT looks so much better, you know, and it does in these trailers, although Forza looks amazing. But this is not how the game's going to look, and you know that. You are wrong, Jaffe, says Ricardo. Well, Ricardo, I have no context for what you're talking about. Could you be specific? Frankie Blasey says it's absolutely a good thing to be reactionary to the competition. Well, it's a good thing in the sense that it suggests that they actually are, they're not bleeding, they're not cut. It just suggests that they are, you know, a little woke to this at this point. They're going, wait a minute, we might actually have a fight on our hands here. This is, look at this, negative 56. Come on, this is, I'm looking at the Metacritic of what's this thing called? Forza 5. And, you know, okay, mixed, fine. Most of it's positive. 56 negative reviews from users. Come on, man. I mean, we should get to a point where if you're going to leave a comment on YouTube, the code can recognize if you watch the fucking thing. If you're going to leave a score on Metacritic, you know, you got to prove you fucking own the fucking thing. I mean, some of this is bullshit. But yeah, Ricardo, what am I wrong about? What am I lying about? He says Sony has been releasing Gran Turismo videos every 3 days or something for a while now. Well, I will show you. You know, you can suggest though that it wasn't time. So what you're saying, Ricardo, is that Gran Turismo from Sony, and I'm looking at their videos right now. So the last one they dropped was yesterday, right? Which was the day that Horizon dropped, okay? Since then, where is the next one that they've dropped? It was a week ago they dropped a video, right? So I'm not seeing every 3 days. Blood Rally Show looks cool. But yeah, okay, here's another one. This one was another week. But again, I mean, are you suggesting, Ricardo, that they have absolutely putting these trailers out when this game is launching, releasing Horizon footage when Halo Infinite is launching, the trailer for Halo Infinite campaign? Are you suggesting that that's just a coincidence and they're not really worried at all about these? Wolfblood says the only bad thing about Forza is they force you to choose pronouns. Well, they don't force you to do anything, but what's bad about that? Frank Blasey, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, Jeffy, one day soon, I think you meant to write, down to my town of New Haven and visit our barcade. It's a bar and it's an old school arcade. It's all you need, Street Fighter 2 for the win. Frank, I've been to a couple of those kind of bars. You know, I'm not a big drinker. I'd like to go to a classic arcade. But yes, if I'm ever in New Haven, why not? That could be a lot of fun. Absolutely. Kruger, thank you for the super chat. He says, Clown World isn't what Sweet Tooth had in mind. No idea. No idea what you're talking about, Kruger, but I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you, sir. Clown World isn't what Sweet Tooth had in mind. I got to tell you something real quick. I am commissioning an artist to do this incredible fight scene between Kratos and Sweet Tooth, but his sort of signature styling is he does versions of Carnage and Venom. And he just did an amazing version of sort of Venom Tooth. And so I'm going to have Venom Tooth fighting Carnage Kratos. It's going to be awesome. Cannot wait. How was Forza, by the way, says Heretic. I haven't had a chance to play it. I really like it. I had to go in and do a bunch of settings to arcade it up a little bit or a lot of it because I'm not a sim guy. But what I've played so far is addictive. It's fun. I love all of the stuff that you can do in the world outside of the racing, the exploring, and raising money to buy houses and all the weird missions like racing trains and shit. I think it's pretty fucking good, man. I dig it. Optimus Backsweat, I'm undercover at Sony and they are not scared, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Nobody's scared. Nobody's scared. I'm just saying that it's a good thing to see, Sony going, okay, we may have to fight a little bit this time. I mean, that's not, I think that's good. Everybody, it's a cliche to say it, but everybody does kind of win. Ricardo says, I can only say what is a fact. Sony has been releasing GTA video every week for the last 7 weeks. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate the data. But let me ask you this. As a reporter, Ricardo, do you think that Sony is looking at Microsoft this generation and going, we may have to adjust this generation to what they do more, where we didn't have to adjust at all. We didn't even know they were playing the game this time last generation. Would you agree that Microsoft is more of a threat to their market share this generation, like in a meaningful way, or you don't really see that happening with your contacts and your observation as a reporter in the game industry? Forza is the Wish.com Gran Turismo. No idea what that means. Darth Nugget, thank you for being a member for 7 months. Thank you, pal. He says, did you see hackers might have found a PS5 exploit? I did. Would hackers getting a PS3 emulation working on PS5 push Sony to implement it officially? I don't know how they could. Well, I guess they could do an emulation. I don't know. I really don't know. I think all you have to do is look at how long it took Sony to implement being able to change your PSN name, and people were asking for that for a long time. It's not that it was necessarily the world's hardest thing, although it did deal with a lot of things that were baked into the cake of how the back end and online work. But a lot of it is they're spread thin on resources. They only have so much to work on. I would be stunned if Sony said, Here's what I would say. If hackers get the PS3 emulation working on PS5 and it suddenly becomes this massive thing, then sure. But I would argue that that's not going to happen. I don't think backwards compatibility is real, unless you're... I don't know. I mean, I've loved the backwards compatibility of Steam, but the idea of it being emulated and then it's like, okay, do you have to own the disc? How would that even work? It just seems like more trouble than it's worth. I think moving forward, you're going to see just like Xbox is doing or just like Steam is doing. You can play everything from now on from Sony moving forward. But I can't imagine they're going to go back and worry about a system for 2 generations ago that really, I just don't see it. But we'll see. Frank says, I feel like Sony has such a head start on Xbox this generation. They are somewhat complacent. Okay. Legend says GT7 is not competing against Forza Horizon. GT's competing against Forza Motorsport. Yeah, but Forza Motorsport, have they even announced when that's supposed to come out? For me, Forza and GT are in different places on the market. Forza is on their open world kick, and GT is all about real world tracks. Oh, I know they're different games. But I do think they are, they're the big racers coming out for both systems first party and the first ones that are coming out. And as such, I think they're being used as a benchmark for these systems. Ricardo says regarding Sony responding to Microsoft, he says, let's see how it goes moving forward. Sony still rules in a lot of countries. In Portugal, you can go to a store and get a Series X right now. PS5 does not even hit the shelves. Interesting. Okay. David, did you ever meet Ian Ian Hetherington. No, I did not. Wolfblood says, come on, man. What is it, sir? What can I help you with? Forza competes with Little Big Planet Racing. Shut up, Eddies. Come on now. Judging them as the first benchmark, that makes sense. I mean, I think most people will do that, but I think you're right. Like, I have zero interest in playing Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is you know, you got to love your fucking cars and racing and all that shit. And clearly there's a market for it, but Forza hits my more mainstream spot a lot better. Motorsport and Horizon come out every other year from one another, so Motorsport will be out next fall, says Cooper Wright. And that's the same. Is that all Playground games, right? Because I know they're doing Fable as well, so I guess they have 3 teams or 2.5 teams maybe, though. So the Horizon guys will roll over onto Motorsport then. So interesting. All right, let's move on. Oh my God, that tastes so good. Not really big news. I just wanted to I wanted to point this out because I appreciate it. Halo Infinite's Battle Pass won't have dance moves for Spartans. I fucking hate dancing in video games when it breaks the canon and breaks the fantasy. And same thing with naming trophies, all funny. It's like it so pulls me out of being in the moment of the game that it's nice to see a developer sort of planting a flag and saying, yeah, you know what, we're not doing that. We're not going to have Master Chief dabbing, when you shoot somebody in the head. It just looks stupid. So there's not like I said, there's no big story there. I was just glad to see it because I think dancing in video games is fucking stupid unless it's a very specific game. It just looks dumb. It looks fucking stupid. So I'm glad it's not in there. Frank, thank you for the super chat. He says, is it all within Sony's best interest to invest in PS1, PS2 backwards compatibility, or is the juice not worth the squeeze? Peace and love, everyone. Thank you, sir. I mean, everyone's opinion on that will vary. I will tell you, I will tell you that I don't think there's any value in it. I don't have any numbers. I'm just going off anecdotally what I see on the internet and my own personal interests. But I don't really, am I like, wow, I have this PS5, I can't wait to play Jumping Flash? I mean, it would be cool. Like on Steam, it's really cool to be able to buy a game, like Turok in 64. I can play that on Steam now. But I don't think so. My answer to that super chat, which I appreciate, would be no. I don't think it's in their best interest. I think they should put that person on something else. I wouldn't waste the time. Was Fable the game they had to bring in Crystal? No, Darth Nugget. That was Perfect Dark with what are those guys called in Santa Monica? The new team starts with an I. The something. I love Jumping Flash too, but I just what are they called? The fucking, I don't know what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. What's up with the horror movie streams? We will, you know what? Fuck it, Wolfblood. Let's do one this weekend. Even if it's low attended, we'll do pot and popcorn this weekend. Absolutely 100%. Spazbo says Master Chief already has emotes in Fortnite. Oh, well, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what a new generation of players that came up with Fortnite thinks about Halo. Like, I wonder if they'll vibe with it or go, why can't I build anything? And where's Batman? And where's Kratos? And why is this so serious? I'm very curious to see if a game this sort of pure to its IP that isn't already in the zeitgeist like Call of Duty can build an audience. Kruger, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate that. I do. He says, it still trips me out that I'm able to talk to you this easily. It's never easy to talk to those in person for the music inspiration of TM1 and 2. Wait, it's never easy to thank those in person for the music inspiration in TM1 and 2. Well, again, I like talking to you and I appreciate being part of our community, buddy, but I absolutely, as I hope you know, did not write that music. I gave them creative direction for the music, but they went off and did their talents and magic. It wasn't me. Wasn't fucking me. But I appreciate the super chat and appreciate you being here, buddy. Jaffe, answer this, says Legends. If Kratos were to die, how would you think he would die and by whose hands? I think the only way Kratos is going to die is he's ultimately going to succeed with what he was doing when we first met him, which is committing suicide. I think that's how he's going to go out. He is. Here's what I think. I honestly think Kratos is a force of nature at this point. I think he represents. He's almost transcended manhood and godhood, and he's kind of become this representation for revenge and avenging things and people who have been shit upon, who are like enough. You know, he's almost like the Greek patron saint, which I know doesn't make any sense, of I've had enough and I'm fighting back, right? And so in that, I think the only way, I don't think he ever can die, because that spirit is always within people, but I think the only way he can die, honestly, is by his own hands, in a way where he can't crawl back out of Hades. I think for him to really just vanish would cause him to be able to say, I'm done, I'm ready to rest, and he's able to do himself in, and he's actually gone. That's the only way. I mean, one could potentially argue, you could write a story about Kratos where the real reason he hasn't been able to die all these times is because he still has work to do. He still knows that, you know, I don't mean to romanticize him, but there is this sort of living legend about him now, where he really is a representation and an inspiration for people in that story of like, holy shit, this was a man who took on the gods. If he can take on the gods when people treated him like shit, maybe I can stand up to the forces of disrespect and evil and unfairness in my life. And I think if I were to get back into the game, I wouldn't be so on the nose about it, but I would start to play with that idea. The fact that he is evolving past just his own story, and he is sort of affecting the world, almost like a Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan kind of living legend sort of thing. That's kind of where I go with it. I think. Hang on. Kruger, thank you. Idle Hands popcorn movie recommendation. Never seen it. I will keep it on the list. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, buddy. Okay. Okay, this is where I need everyone, but certainly I want Ricardo to talk to me about this, because, look, I don't have any data. Yeah, he went against the gods, but he crawled right back out of the goddamn grave, man. Okay. Oh, you know what I did see, though? I saw a beautiful picture of Kratos and Atreus in Egypt fighting Egyptian gods and stuff, and it was just a beautiful piece of fan art. I don't know where I saw it, but I was like, fuck, that's amazing. But anyway, so I don't really, I'm sure it won't be delayed, but I gotta play you guys some things that came out yesterday, and maybe I'm just overthinking it, but so first off, he says, Todd Howard says, we're in a state where we can play the whole game, but there's so much left to do. It's a very, very ambitious game, and we're not going to let off the gas. And I'll let you hear him say it firsthand. What's really interesting too, by the way, is he is also said, this was from 2018, where he said Starfield has been in development for a long time, even in 2018, and already exists in a playable state. So it's been playable in various forms for quite some time, but I guess this is the first time we've heard that the whole thing is playable. But let me play you this clip from I guess this was IGN was interviewing him the other day. Listen to what he says here.
We line things up and adding buffer where things, it kind of landed.
So he's talking about why they picked 11-11-21, okay?
You know, around there, I was like, hey, this would feel really, really good.
Yeah.
There's a weird wrinkle in it.
Okay.
Which is in Europe versus North America, they flip the days.
It's true.
So there's always this, when you're doing advertising stuff, if the day and the month are the same, you don't have to change it, which is this great added benefit. I thought it looked really cool in the trailer too.
So you feel good about it then? You're.
I don't know if I ever feel good. I'm usually confident. You know, this is how things line up. But we want to do the best job we can, and there's still so much to do.
Yeah.
I feel good about the game.
Yeah.
And we're confident about the date. But
feel good about the game, and we're confident about the date, but, and then they just cut him off, right? I feel good about the game. We're confident about the date, but, and then what's preceded is this.
Yeah.
There's a weird wrinkle in it.
I feel good about it then.
I don't know if I ever feel good. I'm usually confident. This is how things line up. But we want to do the best job we can.
Right, we want to do the best job we can.
And there's still so much to do.
Yeah.
I feel good about the game.
Yeah.
And we're
right? Why would you break those up? I feel good about the game.
confident about the date. But
now, again, I'm not saying I don't have...
Is Starfield, like, more or less done, and you're just polishing the hell out of it to get ready for 11/11, or...?
No, we're at a state where we can play the whole game.
Yeah.
But again, there's so much to do. It's a very, very ambitious game, and we're not going to let off the gas there. And given how the world's gone, it's hard to project exactly what's going to happen when. And we honestly we do our best.
Yeah.
And it's been, look, in the grand scheme of the world, we have it great. But creatively getting together...
Right? It's hard to predict what's going to happen when. And then he says, I feel confident about the game or about the date, but... Am I just reading too much into this? No, I'm not saying the game will be poop at all. I think it looks awesome. I'm just saying that I think that this game... I don't think this sounds like a guy who's confident that they're going to ship this on time. I think they know this is going to push out to probably 2023, like quarter one. So that's what I wanted to know. I mean, anybody watching this, I want to know, am I just reading into this, or do you hear that and hear the same thing I hear, which is you get a little suspicious there. Vitaphone says, I mean, he goes out of his way twice to tell Ryan McCafferty that the date was in ink, even when Ryan gives him wiggle room, saying games don't really get dates inked in. Well, he actually said, then he said it was in pencil. I was never a fan of the interviewer. He would wear his Microsoft bias on his sleeve, says Frank. Yeah, I know he's the IGN editor-in-chief. I don't really know him. Legend says spring 2023 is my bet. So, Ricardo, are you still watching? And if you are, what do you think? Am I parsing the language to such a degree that it's like, dude, there's nothing in here that anybody would take? Okay, so Ricardo says, it sounds like he's not sure they can make it, but it's not enough to assume the game will be delayed. Yeah, I don't think we know that, but it does sound like he's left himself some room to get out of it. And I think it will be delayed. It's hard, it's hard to imagine how it won't. I mean, you've got this very ambitious game. It's got to be great. It's got to, he says it's done, but there's so much polish, so much to do. It's hard to imagine they'll be willing to let it go, especially knowing their reputation is on the line, regarding because of the bugginess of the games they've released since. But Vitaphone, you're saying he said it's inked. I mean, show me where that is, because I saw Brian say that. Again, I don't care. I mean, great. Look, what an amazing Christmas next year for Microsoft to have. But I did hear Brian say ink. Maybe he was reiterating what Todd said, and then Todd says, well, it's kind of like pencil. But I don't and then this interview was 2 days ago. Yesterday he did an AMA where he literally says, I'm confident about the date. So who knows? Ricardo says we're literally a year away. Who knows what can happen? Microsoft can just pour more money and resources. But yes, they are not 100% sure they can make it. Ratchet 2505, thank you, buddy, for the super chat, all the way over from merry old London. He says they are just leaving the door open for a delay. Yeah, I mean, I mean, let's put it this way. When is the last time a game this big and this meaty and this meaningful has not been delayed? Like, can you think? I mean, I'm sure it exists, but I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe Assassin's Creed does a pretty good job of making their dates. Ubisoft, for whatever reason, maybe it's they throw money at it, maybe it's the same template over and over, I don't fucking know. But they do a pretty good job of hitting, when they say an Assassin's Creed's coming out, it's coming out that day. It's rare, unless I'm not remembering it correctly, that those guys miss their dates. But other than that, I think most big games, you always hear that they're being pushed. Mo, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you joining our merry band of fucksticks. Thank you for joining the Diet Soda Soldiers. Everybody give Mo the most beautiful, sexy image in the whole goddamn world. If you can, I would appreciate it. Mo, welcome, buddy. Do I have any pot for you? No, but I have some inhaler. I don't even care if you have asthma, Mo. You're going to take it and you're going to enjoy it. There you go, baby. That's for you. Did I just put it on my camera? Oh, well. That's how much I love you, Mo. Welcome, Mo. Good to see you, buddy. Call of Duty never gets delayed. True. Vitaphone says, you've got it flipped. It's Ryan who offered the wiggle room, and then he says they put it on the line by baking it into the teaser. All right, so what you're saying, Vitaphone, I mean, I've only watched the interview like once, 1.5 times. Oh, you, Eddie C., you fucker. So you are confident, Vitaphone. You feel that if this game slips, nobody, including Todd Howard, is expecting it. It will be something that catches them unaware. They're not sitting around going, it's possible we're going to slip, and so I'm laying the groundwork, is what you're saying. Cool. All right, I want to ask you guys a question. Starfield has been out in development since Fallout 4. Yeah, I mean, they interviewed him about it. Thank you for that super chat, buddy. They interviewed him about it in 2018. And he said the same thing, Ratchet 2505, absolutely. Jaffe, where the hell is the Phil Spencer emote? Did we get rid of it? I don't think we got rid of it. Let me see. Did I get rid of it? I may have gotten rid of it and replaced it with the most beautiful woman in the world, Melissa Benoist. You got to freshen it up, baby. You got to freshen that shit up. Come on now. Call of Duty has 3 dev studios they pull from time to time to help. Yeah, and they also have... who are the guys that were Sammy, and they made the Darkwatch game, something Moon in Carlsbad? They're also kind of a support. There's a number of support stations or studios as well. Thank you, Legends. There she is. There's my girl. All right, I want to talk briefly. I just want to ask you a question. This is just, here's what's funny, and I'm not still beating on the drum about Metroid. But remember when everybody gave me shit because it was like, you should just know how to play the game. And this is related only tangentially, but I see this story. If you don't know Forza 5 is in the game. There are these like 14 barns scattered all over Mexico that have cars hidden in them. And you have to find the barns. And this is an article in PC Gamer, but they're not the only ones to do it, that basically says, hey, let us do the work for you and tell you where all the fucking barns are. Right? And I'm just kind of going, okay, wait a minute. So why are some games, if you want help and need help, that's awful, you're an idiot. And then other games, no one has a problem with these kind of articles being written. I'm like, first off, as a designer, I wouldn't want an article. We hid cars in buildings in Twisted Metal Black. The last thing in the world I want was for someone to write an article saying, here is how you get every single secret. And I guess I've never understood that. I've never understood why, as a player, you buy the game, you spend your time. What's fun about going, okay, I want the 1967 Ford Racing Escort MK1. Okay, instead of searching for it and figuring it out, I'm going to open up a web page and simply read what to do to get it. Who does that? And I'm not saying that like I'm judging you. I'm asking, do you do that? And if you do, why would you do that? Like, what is the point of that? Isn't it? Well, yeah, but this is just a map. There's no skill involved. There is skill involved. There's exploring. And there's also skill involved kind of when you get to an area in the game that has a barn, they let you know you're in the proximity, but you still have to explore and look around for it, which is part of the fun. I don't understand, has anybody who has the ability to comment, have any of you ever use these things? If a trophy is tied to the barn cars, that's why. Trophy addicts. Yeah, but don't you want to earn a trophy based on your own skill? I don't understand. I just don't. I really don't understand that. It's like, if you have a platinum trophy or whatever achievement in this game, shouldn't it be because you actually earned it? why do you think you deserve bragging rights for having a platinum trophy in a game that you've gotten simply by reading a website? I don't understand that. So I guess I am judging you. It feels very, it feels cheap. It's like, why would you do that? It's not like looking up the answer to a puzzle. It's just something you'll more likely happen upon. Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, I've found a couple of barns, but I went looking for them, and it felt good to find them. Yeah, that's a good point, though. Game Over Kid says, yeah, but be aware that Nintendo fanboys are totally different than Xbox or PS players. That's a good point. It's a good point. I do it for story-based games, says Caveman. Finish the story and use the guides to find the trophies. Yeah, but why? Is it fun? Like, why do you care about trophies that all you've done is followed a list of instructions to get? Legend says people want what they want and want to be the first to have it. People love to showboat. Yeah, I know, but if you I don't know. All I'm saying is I wasn't raised that way. It's like if you want to showboat, I think that's great. But then fucking earn the right to showboat. Don't fucking, I'd love to get this T100 Baja truck. I love all the off-road shit, but I want to fucking find it on my own. Articles like this says Heretic are for people that can't afford but want a game guide. Do they even make game guides anymore? The answers to these questions are all the more reason why you have to play Outer Wilds. I know, Frank, I have it. I have not gotten around to it yet, but I will. Okay, I want to talk about sales charts real quick. As it relates to Sony just dropped their download sales chart. So now we've had some stuff coming out of the UK for box sales, but these are now the digital downloads from the PlayStation Store. Sorry. And I want to actually look at them and I want to compare them to last month because there's some interesting things going on here. So this is this month on PS5. Far Cry 6, top of the food chain, at least here in Europe, it's flipped with FIFA. Back 4 Blood is number 3. In America, Demon Slayer is number 4. Number 5 is NBA 2K. Okay, so Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy premieres at 6 in America, which is kind of low. Madden is there, 7. NHL is 8. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, that is surprising, coming in at number 9. Miles Morales is still hanging in there, coming in at 10. Then there's Alan Wake at 11. 12 is Deathloop. Riders Republic, I know that only just came out, but wow. Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes, 14. Not great. Ken A Bridge of Spirits is down at 15. Diablo is down at 16. Hot Wheels Unleashed is 17. Mortal Kombat 11 is 18. 19 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is still in there. So this is... I want to compare this to the previous month to show you kind of what's moving and coming up and down. Legend says regarding using guides, it's the journey, not the destination for us past gamers, but now it's all about the destination. Forget how you got there or what you experienced. Yeah, it may be a get off my lawn, I'm an old man kind of thing. But I agree. I think I'm let me just say it this way. I am wise enough to understand that generational divide is not necessarily built on my thing is better than your thing. I can understand culturally why instant gratification and bragging rights means more to people today, to kids today, or gamers that are in their early 20s today than they did when I was that age. We value different things, but the world was a very different place. So it kind of makes sense. Wolfblood says I would buy the PS5 just for the Wolverine game, or you could buy a PC because you know it's going to be on there too. Yeah, the Nickelodeon game I've heard mixed things. I've heard the production wise it's pretty it's pretty empty and but the moment to moment gameplay is fun. But I've never heard anyone say that it's going to take the place of Smash in terms of depth and whatnot. So. I definitely used the guide to help me explore Zelda Breath of the Wild. Mainly I used the map, says Spaz, in the guide to point me in a specific direction. But is that because you were making a long form play video of it and that was your kind of your job, or was enjoyable for you? So let's look at the previous month though, because I thought this was interesting. So last month, so Canna Bridge of Spirits doesn't look like it has a lot of legs. It came on strong at 3, and it's dropped down to 15 in the course of a month. Deathloop is really disturbing. Deathloop, and I don't think anyone's surprised by this, but Deathloop was really, even if you read this article we kicked off the stream with, talking about if Xbox can't beat PS5 this holiday, I'm not sure it ever will. This guy goes on to talk about how Deathloop is really Sony's big thing this Christmas that's unique, that you can only get on the hardware, that you can't, that's newish. Well, Deathloop went from 2 to 12 in the course of 4 weeks, 3 weeks, right? Diablo cratered. Death Stranding Director's Cut is nowhere to be found. It came in at 9 and now it's gone. I mean, it's a director's cut, but I thought it would stick a little longer. Hot Wheels, look, I'm biased. I love Hot Wheels, but I like what Hot Wheels is doing. Hot Wheels is kind of the sleeper. I think Hot Wheels is going to keep selling, because look at this. It was at number 14 last month, and this month it's only dropped 3 spots, 17. In the UK last month, I don't even know if it was on. Let's see. The UK last month, Hot Wheels wasn't. Maybe I'm missing it. Let's see. This is last month. Hot Wheels. I don't think it was even anywhere in the UK last month, in their top 20. And unless they just released it in the UK recently, but this is on the chart at 16 after having been out for a month, which says that word of mouth is really strong in this game. So I did play Deathloop Wolfblood, and I enjoyed what I played, and I thought it was really well made, but for some reason it just didn't grab me. I played enough to get like the first, I forget what her name is, the main female assassin that's after you. I got her power, or whatever they call them. And that was cool, but I haven't had a desire to really to jump back in. Mo says, did you check out the new Elden Ring test reviews? Looks like there's ways to make the game much easier. I did not. I mean, I've seen positive things, like people have said, oh, it's really cool, but I haven't really read anything. What are they saying are the main ways to sort of make it an easier thing? So Spaz says, going back to the guides, he says, if I didn't have the guide help me through Breath of the Wild, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, since the map itself is so huge. It did also help the long play so I could get through it faster. Yeah, it's interesting to me as somebody who has designed games. I always look at game design as a closed system. It's like you shouldn't need a guide. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad that you bought a guide. If you had a better time with a guide, that's great. But it's almost like the fact that you needed a guide because the world without it was too big, it almost suggests that that's a fault of the game. The world needed to be smaller. But I don't recall a lot of reviews suggesting that, And so I just kind of wonder about that sometimes. I wonder about how willing gamers and game journalists are to forgive a bunch of things that really it is the game's job to do. It's the game's job to tell you how to play it. It's the game's job to not require supplemental material you get on the internet in order to in order to learn or to tolerate some of the weaker parts of the design. It's weird to me. It's weird to me that the games get a pass like that. I don't think a lot of other art forms do. I still remember playing GTA 3 and having to use the real-life map that came with the game. That's different, though. They gave it to you, though. It was part of the experience. If you bought GTA 3 and it came with the map, or if you bought Ultimate and it came with the map, they're going, this is part of what we're selling you. We want you to use that map. We've only ever bought guides for Fallout and Mass Effect, says Vitaphone. My OCD requires it, as I spend half the game over encumbered. Oh, okay. With the weight of the objects and stuff. Okay. Mutant Mo says, I read my Final Fantasy Tactics guide on the toilet all the time back in the day. Gotcha. I stole the Resident Evil 2 strategy guide, says Wolfblood, with my brother from the mall when I was young. And you got away with it. Do you feel terrible now? It's because most of the gamers, says Legends, who got the new systems are scalpers, and the people who bought from scalpers only play Madden, 2K, FIFA. Some people bought the new systems just because it's popular. I see. Jacob, you don't use any maps? I'm not sure I understand. Mo says, in Breath of the Wild, I only had one shrine left, and I couldn't find it for the life of me, so I needed a guide to find it, but I still needed to solve it. All right, so you kind of split the difference a little bit. Caveman says, I use guides for collectibles and stuff. I play through without help, and then I use them for little secrets. I don't have the time to search. I hear you. It's just weird. It's weird how gamers forgive that, right? But it's like, yeah, but don't, seriously, why, I'm not being a dick. I'm just curious. It's like, okay, so it's okay for you to take the vision of the game director of a game you bought a guide for and say, yeah, I know you didn't ship the game with the guide and you want me to find it and that's your vision, but fuck you, I'm a busy guy, I'm going to use the guide. But a lot of those same people will say, don't put an easy mode in Soulsborne games. You're disrespecting what the developer wants. It's like, well, you don't get to pick and choose that philosophy, do you? Right? I mean, why is it some games it's okay to totally shit all over what the director wants because you want that, and other games you're like, no, this vision of the director is sacred. I don't understand that. But anyway, okay. Hang on a second. Let me check this out real quick. I want to answer some questions that came in over the internet. Frank, thank you for the super chat. He says, from a game designer perspective, do you feel like in-game waypoints can take away from an overall experience in an open world game? Thank you for the super chat as always, buddy. Let me make sure I understand what you mean. From a game design perspective, do you feel in-game waypoints? Oh, okay, you mean like, you don't mean checkpoints. You mean like, a thing that guides you like 50 clicks away, and then when you get there, it shows you something else. I'm not one of these guys that feels... I'm not one of these guys that, like, if you really look at what the brain is doing, I mean, I find this fascinating. I find this topic fascinating because what you see is not actually what's happening a lot of times in a video game, okay? And what I mean by that is a lot of people talk about, I don't want a HUD messing with my immersion. I love it when the game doesn't have the HUD. It's more like I'm really living in the space, okay? Well, there are absolutely, I get that for certain games where you want to get rid of any kind of help and you just want to be immersed. And if there's somebody behind you, it's only the audio that lets you know. You're not going to get any other cues. There's not like a little map in the upper right. And that I understand. But I will also say that a lot of times the things that look to players like thematically immersion breaking are the very things that make you immersed in the moment-to-moment gameplay. And sometimes those are waypoints. Sometimes, if you look at Assassin's Creed, I don't know if they still do this, but the last one I remembered them doing this one was Black Flag, and they probably still do it, but they would have those things hidden like pirate shanties or whatever, and they would give you an area of the map, so you could go to it and say, oh, okay, I know the pirate shanty is somewhere around here. But then you have to kind of just use your own eyes and look around for it. And in that case, it was like the waypoint system and the laid on top of the game, the HUD, was sort of doing double duty with the sense of no HUD. It was really a nice back and forth. So I think a lot of times immersion comes from those systems laying over the top of the game. That is the game. It's what gets you engaged with it. So I think it really, I think waypoints, depending on the game, can absolutely add to the sense of immersion. But I also understand the value of not having them at all. But it usually is a slower, kind of more exploratory game. I mainly use the map in the guide. This is Spazbo talking about Breath of the Wild to help me find shrines. Everything in between from finding story and side missions were all done on my own. Gotcha. Okay, and that seems to be a consistent thing with that particular game. What the fuck's the problem about easy mode? There are gamers that go wild on the atmosphere and style, but aren't very good. There's a whole stream about it yesterday, Game Over Kid, if you want to watch it, where I kind of gave my thoughts. But I think at this point, that's a dead horse that I'm not really interested in beating right now. But we can talk about it later. I don't think they like the hidden HUD to avoid getting help. I think it's just aesthetically pleasing. Oh, yeah, I agree. But I think ultimately the gameplay, a lot of times, I'm trying to think of examples like, I mean, you know, this one's the most obvious and simple, but well, thank you, Jackson. I appreciate that, buddy. Take like Mario and collecting coins. And when you collect 99 coins, you get an extra life. Well, having that on the screen and seeing that on the screen is actually part of being immersed in the mechanics, because the satisfaction that comes when you see that number tallying up and then converting to a 1-up or an extra life, if that was happening kind of just in the background, I think it would be a less satisfying experience, you know. Have I ever checked out For Honor? Yes, I was terrible at it, but I loved what it was about. Immortals Rise of Phoenix did the open world really well. I would say they did it better than Breath of the Wild. Heretic, I only played that game for about 4 hours, and I really liked it. I just really wasn't in the headspace for another Ubisoft open world thing. I just can't handle it anymore when they do it. Bo Bandy, good to see you, buddy. But I did like what I played. Okay. You put Casey Kasem in the meantime? What? I did. It seems fun as fuck. Hang on. Have you ever checked out For Honor? I did. It seems fun as fuck. And then the next thing he wrote says, I put Casey Kasem in the meantime. What? Makes no sense. Spaz says, I also used a guide for Super Mario Odyssey mainly to help me find enough power moons to unlock the last 2 levels. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys something. Seriously, I get asked all the time. And I mean, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing in games right now. I'm really enjoying the consulting work. I had such a fun meeting today because I got to actually play the first benchmark build of a new game that Movie Games is doing, and it was so neat to wander around that world and then get on a Zoom call with the designer and talk about his vision and stuff. It was really, really cool. But I will tell you that you know, I don't relate to a lot of gamers. Like I would never, even though, you know, look, I would never compare my success or my talents to the people who make Breath of the Wild. Are you kidding me? But I would never make a game that intentionally made things so hard that you needed a guide. It just doesn't seem like, you know, but that's what clearly a lot of gamers like. Vidaphone says, with a guide, you still have to play the game and engage with the loop. If you want a specific object, you just know where to venture. Yeah, I hear you. But I still think that's part of the experience, and it seems, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like a movie, and you're watching the movie, and then it's like, hey, can you stop it and just explain to me what happens here? And then I can just not have to worry about watching those next 3 scenes because I have to be somewhere. It's just weird to me. A brutal game that is designed to be brutal, where it's baked into the genre, is arguably ruined or no longer the same type on easy. It's like Memento edited in chronological order. Yeah, I'm not equating I'm not equating making an easy mode in a Soulsborne game is the same thing as using a guide. But what I am saying is the argument why a lot of people don't want to add an easy mode to the Soulsborne games is that's not what the developer wanted. And that's what they hang their hat on in that argument. It's not what you're saying. So if you're hanging your hat on the argument of, hey man, I just want to respect the developer's vision, then you probably really shouldn't be playing with the guide. Like if the game didn't ship with the guide or a map and you play with it, it is kind of the same thing as wanting easy mode in Soulsborne. or any, the game is what the developer wanted to ship to you, or the game when with the DLC patch or whatever. Anything you add to it, you have a right to add to it. But it doesn't seem like you can then use the argument on any other game that, I'm respecting the vision of the developer. You can't pick and choose that shit. You need to play Sekiro, Ricardo? Fuck no. I hear it's impossible. No way, man. No fucking way. I am going to go back and play Bloodborne. Okay, so I got some questions over the Twitter. I want to read them. I want to answer them. This is from a guy, missing old Halo days. BXR Legend is his name. He says, Jaffe, will you discuss... Let me show you this on your TV screen there. Jaffe, will you discuss the $50 add-on you can buy and what that possibly means for the future of gaming subscriptions? He's talking about Forza. Making games short on content and buying what should have been there for premium. Forza is not that right now, but it's certainly the future. What he's talking about, if you don't know, is obviously Forza's day one on Game Pass, but also what is day one is you could buy the $50 premium add-on. And in that, you get like a couple of new big sections of the world. You get new vehicles. You get new modes. You get like the ability to get a free car out of the showroom, whatever car you want. It's a valuable asset. So he's asking me, the fear is, and you see this in Halo as well. Halo the other day just announced their season pass. We kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the stream, talking about the battle pass with dance moves and all that shit. But it's interesting because, what I will say as somebody who is playing Horizon, Horizon is absolutely packed with stuff to do. I can't fathom I will ever do half of it, let alone all of it, and then have a desire to keep doing more of it. But I certainly don't think if you bought just the straight up basic Horizon game and you purchased it and you weren't worried about Game Pass, I think you'd be a moron if you thought it wasn't worth $60 if you like that kind of game. So then the question really becomes, okay, well, this guy's asking, well, yeah, but is the future of these going to be you're going to make these games short and then you sell all this other stuff that, quote, should have been there for a premium price? This is all the sky is falling stuff about subservices. He's not saying that's what it is right now, and I appreciate that. But what I'll say to him, what I say all the time about this stuff is the minute game companies, be it Luna or Ubisoft Plus or specifically Game Pass or PS Now, start going down a path that feels predatory and shitty and not a value, is the minute I think people start to walk away from it. So, I don't feel that I'm not getting great value for my money with Forza being on Game Pass day one. I don't know how Halo's going to feel, but assuming it looks as big and deep at a game one day one Game Pass proposition, I'm okay if they want to sell more shit for it. But yeah, if suddenly, Forza Horizon 6 drops day one and there's 5 tracks and 6 cars and everything else is that they're selling, at that point it's just a free to play game. So I think every game will be different, but I've not seen this become a problem yet on Game Pass. But if it does, then yeah, that's what's funny about it. A lot of people seem to talk about Game Pass or PS Now, but specifically Game Pass, like this is like, you got to be careful because this is what they're going to do. And it's like, okay, well, when they start doing it, then probably a lot of people will walk away. Just like it's like when Burger King changed their French fries. I'm not buying their French fries anymore. Or when Panda Express, remember Panda Express? I don't know if you guys eat at Panda that much, but Panda Express did this thing for a while where they're like, we're going to get rid of the white rice, the white fried rice, and we're going to go with brown fried rice. And it was terrible. And they're like, yeah, but it was a lot healthier. It's like, yeah, I don't go to Panda Express with my health in mind. It's like, if I'm going to Panda Express, I've given up the ghost for that day. The diets, I've fallen off the wagon. So, ultimately they kind of went back to the normal race. So I guess that's what I'm saying is that if it becomes that, people will walk away. But it's not that right now. And so I don't really worry about it. I think a lot of people not cry, like I'm not being belittling them, but they cry the sky is falling a lot because it's a way to kind of shit on a service they don't like. And instead, I would just prefer they just say, I don't like it, than try to go, well, here's why I don't like it. And they bring up some bullshit scenario that really has not occurred. I'm stunned. This is Mexico. There's snow in Mexico. I love this game. When do I get to... I'm looking at some screenshots from Forza 5. Where is the snow? Okay, this was the last question I got today. David Jaffe says, Dathan Smith. Hello, Dathan Smith. It's good to see you, pal. Could you explain the relationship betwixt a game publisher and the developer? Who is ultimately in charge? Who determines what games are made? Why are some publishers overbearing while others are hands-off? It's something I've been looking for an answer to. Well, every publisher, as you might imagine, has a different relationship with their developers, right? But the core relationship is not in every case, but in most cases, certainly if you're talking, big budget console games or PC big budget games, the publisher says, look, we're going to fund this for you. More often than not, we're going to own the intellectual property. We control it. You guys are work for hire. Now, the more successful the developer and or the better lawyer or agent the developer has, the better deal they can make with the publisher. And that ultimately, determines the answer to some of your questions, right? Like who's ultimately in charge? Well, more often than not, the publisher is in charge. But have there been cases where if a game is canceled, the developer can walk and sell it to another publisher or self-fund it or go on Kickstarter? Yes. Have there been cases where, like, I would be very surprised if the relationship between Kojima and Kojima Game Studios and Sony did not give Kojima pretty much final say over creative decisions. Ricardo, hang on a sec. Ricardo says, gotta go. There's a big review to write coming up in a few hours. What can you say what the review is? What are you writing? But yeah, I mean, but in most cases, ultimately the developer is working at the pleasure of the publisher. And obviously that begins to change as the developer becomes more of a sure thing or within reason a sure thing. Who determines what games are made? The person who has the money, basically. So what happens is the developer will either come into a place like Sony or Microsoft and pitch a game that they really want to make, or a company like Warner Brothers Interactive will, go to agents and developers and developers and say, hey, we have the rights to all the Batman sidekicks, and we're out looking for a team, whether there wouldn't be internal at that point, that can really take this and do something cool with it. So then they start entertaining pitches, and when they find a team that is right, both creatively, technically, financially, the publisher determines we're going to make it with you, assuming the deal can be made, and they're off to the races, but the publisher's kind of controlling the final word. But why are some publishers overbearing and others are hands-off? I think it's just culture. I think, like I've made videos about this. I was at Sony back in the day when it was called Sony ImageSoft, and there was so much failure that we worked through because none of us had ever done development, that I think ultimately the people that really laid a lot of the foundational bricks for Sony first party today realized that you can really have too many cooks in the kitchen, and the best thing for most developers is hire developers that are creative and don't need hands-on, and you only step in to give them resources like marketing and PR and technology that they couldn't get on their own, or you step in where they are weak. But the good publishers are hands off only because they've hired good developers and they have enough experience publishing games to recognize these guys know what they're doing. And obviously there's, I mean, I would imagine, I don't have any firsthand knowledge of this, I would imagine something like Annapurna, because they work with a lot of new developers, but they're very creative games, and they're very unique games, and they're very singular vision games. It wouldn't surprise me that in that case, because I know the people who run Annapurna Interactive, those are guys that used to work at Sony Santa Monica and ladies that used to work at Sony Santa Monica, and so they have firsthand experience making games. I could see those developers needing more hand-holding, but not because Annapurna necessarily wants to be overbearing, but because if you've never made a game before and you're just out of college but you have this amazing idea, you're going to need a little bit more help. It takes a while to learn how to do that job. Mo says, how about a fear of monopoly if Sony does a subservice and people stop buying games, so if the developer doesn't have his game purchased, it will never be on console? I mean, I don't think that would be a monopoly. I think ultimately there are, you can put your game on Nintendo, you can put it on PC, you can put it on PC on Steam. But if you're proposing a world where there are no more retail sales and everything is basically on the service, like Netflix, or like where these companies are in fact going when they start streaming and there is no console. It's just streaming right to your TV in 5-10 years or whatever. But at that point, it's like Netflix. I mean, if you want to make a movie and you want it to be on television, well, there are a lot of places you can go for that. Just like there will be a lot of places you can go in video games. I think it's only monopoly if the only company that has the rights to stream games is Microsoft. And then I think there's an actual monopoly issue. But other than that, I don't think it's any different from the fact that if you want to make a movie and Netflix says no to you, then you go over to Hulu. And if they say no, you go to Amazon, then HBO Max, then Disney Plus, and then you go to Shudder if it's a horror movie and it's low budget enough, and on and on and on. San Andreas is on Game Pass. Sony broke the launch time. It's supposed to be 7 a.m. Oh, I don't know. It's probably out now, I imagine. That's not today, but I know San Andreas is out today on Game Pass, I think, right? In fact, I know it is. In fact, I should look it up real quick before I wrap up the stream. The hard copies are in December, though. That's right. Make Brink 2? What was... Oh my God, Wolfblood. Brink? That fucking shooter from Splash Damage? Goodness gracious, I didn't know that was on anybody's fucking radar anymore. Have you had a chance to try xCloud? Yes, I have. And it's gotten a lot better. When I first tried it, I did not like it because I had experience with Stadia and Luna, which were just phenomenal. And even PS Now, phenomenal streaming. And then this kind of came up and it was like, oh, this is not great. But it's gotten a lot better. So I'm a fan now. What is happening? Am I going to stream it? Probably not tonight. I mean, it's late here. It's almost 2 a.m, but I am trying to figure out why. Well, here's what I'll say. Fellas, that is Gabbin' and Games. I'm going to stay online and try to get this up and just see if it's working. But that is Gabbin' and Games for whatever the fuck. Who knows, baby? I appreciate the super chats, the new members, the conversation in general. I will be back doing shenanigans tomorrow. Anybody looking for their ads, by the way, I'm redoing all the ads so they can just roll quicker and be more integrated into the show. That's why you haven't seen them the last few episodes. They'll be on the next one. Mr. K says, what a bummer to be a PlayStation owner right now. It's practically over for PS5. Oh, shut up. That's not true. That Sony is going to come out with an amazing trailer in December that says, hey, you probably can't get a PS5 anyway, but, here's what's coming. God of War, boom. Gran Turismo, boom. Horizon, boom. Tokyo Ghostwire, whatever the fuck it's called, boom. Stray, boom. I mean, unlike, Microsoft needs to have that show, which I hear is going to be around the Halo launch, and they need to do the same thing, because the last thing they want is to blow their chance to have a great Christmas, because the narrative that gets out there becomes, oh yeah, Microsoft's awesome, Game Pass is awesome, but after Halo drops, what is there, right? They haven't really announced anything. So I think Sony's in a really good position because we know what their roadmap looks like going into 2022, but we don't really know anything about what's happening on Xbox first party coming next year for the most part. Heretic, we got to talk about the difficulty thing. I can bring that up and sort of QA the next actual open chat we do. I'm happy to do it. Let me figure out. But anyway, that's the show. Thank you guys for spending some time with me and hanging out. I'm going to stay streaming for a little bit. I just want to see what's happening over at Game Pass. And I'm trying to figure out why it's not giving me what I want. I want what I want, and how dare them not give it to me. Sony just has Microsoft needs more blockbuster first-party games. Sure. Those are all subpar games at best. Oh, come on. Shut up, Mr. K. You fucking with me. I know that. Sony just has first-party IPs up the bum. No, they do. They do. And I agree, Wolfblood. Luna needs exclusives. It's a great service, but... okay, let's see what we got. So, let me change this real quick. El Gato. All right, there we go. But seriously, for the people listening to the podcast, I'm going to edit it out right here. But seriously, thank you for listening. Thanks for being part of our community. Hopefully you will review the podcast, like it, do all that stuff if you're listening in podcast form. And hopefully we will see you live on the show in the future. Be safe out there, everybody. Thank you. What do you think of Unity buying Weta? I don't really understand it, frankly. I don't get why they would buy it. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know enough about sort of real-time engine development. It may be that they really are trying to sort of build themselves to be more of a competitor to Unreal, whereas in the past, Unity's been sort of the poor man's Unreal. It's really good, but you can't really do as much with it as you can Unreal. So maybe they think that, you know, especially if you look at kind of what's happening with Unreal in movies and in TV like The Mandalorian and shit like that, like they're literally using that engine to build a lot of their, locations for shooting, and projecting on the dome and shit. So maybe they're like, okay, we have to, we got to get into that. You know, that's just my guess. Deer Simulators on Game Pass. Wait, let's go see what's on Game Pass first. Okay. Recently added. I don't see Deer Simulator. Okay, let's see if Grand Theft Auto is available yet. Because I have it installed. And it did come out today. How many gigs? I will check. Unless you're asking about Deer Simulator. You're too early. I don't understand why it's too early. Let's go to the store and see. Included with Game Pass. So when is it supposed to come out? I don't want the definitive edition. I just want this. See, I thought this was out today. Maybe it's not out. Yeah, it's past midnight. Oh, why is it coming out at 7 a.m.? Okay, I got it. The late night crackheads in the comments are amazing. Oh my God. I played this with both my boys before they passed. Oh God, that's terrible. 10 a.m. release in California. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, I'm sure I'll do a little streaming of it, but yeah, man, I'll tell you, I have gotten. It is on there, Wolfblood. I mean, I have it downloaded, but it's not on there in the sense that you can play it. But the content is there to download. Like mine is already downloaded, so I have not won a race in this fucking game. Rockstar mandate for worldwide. Sony broke the time. That seems odd. That seems not good. Wait, it's on PSN right now? You can play it? That's weird that Sony would do that. That's really unusual. Yeah, I have not won a single race in this game yet. I'm just not good at it. But I do enjoy it. Streamers in England have been streaming it since midnight? Yeah. Oh well, I can wait. Oh shit. I mean, the good news is it doesn't seem like there's any rubber banding in this game on the AI. But goodness gracious, you fuck up once. I mean, that's, you know, I use the rewind button. But you fuck up once, you may as well just restart the fucking race or rewind. Because they'll just be like, yeah, fuck you, see ya. And they don't slow down for you to catch up to give you a good race. You can play it now on PSN. All right, cool. I mean, come on, Jaffe. At least get 4th place. When you're racing their drivatars, as they call them, what does that actually mean? Because you're not racing their ghosts. Are you just kind of racing a car with stats that are similar? To what that person is actually doing in real life? Oh shit, what's happening? Oh, what? No. What the fuck is happening? All right, wait. Okay, stop. See that? Boom. There goes my 4th place. I made one mistake, and that's it. I will say the audio in this game, at least for me, is like I don't have amazing headphones or anything, but I can actually tell when the cars are coming up behind me. Like I can tell when someone's right about to pass me, and I can adjust my driving to stop them. And I've never had these headphones be able to sort of pick up on that kind of shit. So, however they've mixed it is pretty fucking good. But I'm going to get one of those sort of wear around the neck ring speakers in the next couple of weeks. Because I really want to have 3D sound. And I'm not getting it through standard headphones. Even the 3D headphones. Ooh, see this? I'm fucked. Because I landed that way. Yep. Come on now. You got to hit those big jumps exactly straight, or you land weird, and that's it. I'm not going to do it. Shit. Come on, man. See what I'm saying? I cannot win a goddamn race. Here, let's change cars maybe. You checked the PS Store. You couldn't buy it if you wanted to.
¿Qué onda, amiga? Alex asked about the classic off-roader.
Ooh, okay. Where's the
You should
garage?
get to Jimmy before he does.
I want that. Where's the garage, man? I found this car. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I am going to go back to Guardians. I will. I don't know how far you can rewind, Frank, for a long fucking time. A long fucking goddamn time. Like I haven't hit the ceiling yet. Maybe you can go all the way back to the start.
100 yards. Turn sharp left.
Yeah, I'm so bad at this game. right? Hot Wheels, yeah. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you stick with the game. There's just too much to fucking play, man. Oh, Deer Simulator's the 23rd. Okay. Are you simulating the deer? Like, it's not a hunting game. You are the... Am I going to get back into Death Stranding? Yeah. I mean, I think so. I really enjoyed it. There's nothing about it I didn't like. There's just... This is new and shiny right now. I want to get back into Unsighted and finish that. I would have finished it if it wasn't for that fucking confusing messaging where I ended up fucking my save, but I love that game. Okay. Sony has been subtle about a lot of their invisible relationships. No announcement for a partnership with Treon on Terminator Resistance, yet all the DLC is only Sony. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why that is. Right, I still got to finish Tsushima and Last of Us, man. I mean...
You have arrived at your destination.
Where? Oh. I like this game quite a bit. It's a fun game. Where's my garage, damn it? Where's that little sign? Where's the experience sign? I have not. I got to Abbey and I got out of the football stadium, and then the change in the pacing just killed me, man. Okay, so where's my fucking thing? Hang on. Okay, so it's hidden. I have to search for it. Okay, I see. Well, let's do this. And man, the load speed, fuck. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, it's kind of incredible what you just get used to it. Look at that. Boom. Oh, I haven't even played the multiplayer yet. Spaz, but yeah, it's got a lot of multiplayer stuff. And then it's got like a bunch of async multiplayer too, which is pretty cool. 8K resolution, I mean, I think it sounds great. It's on my Christmas list to pick up I don't even have 4K. So, I mean, it's not something I play in, but, Jesus Christ, Jeffy. But, yeah, I mean, I need to pick up a 4K monitor with HDR and all that shit, because I want to experience it. I just, you know, it's when I got to do the research and figure out the right one to buy, and just shit like that takes time. Okay, I'm looking for the garage. What? GTA is 37.9. Oh, gigs? Why? Okay. 8K's vaporware. I thought they said that the Tourist was 8K. Why am I spinning out, man? I know. I mean, I got to buy a monitor. I got to do the fucking research. Buying monitors are fucking scary because there's, you know, I should just go to CNET and say, what's the best fucking monitor to buy? Where is this building? "4K gaming is overrated, 1440p. Okay, but if I buy a monitor that lets me do 4K, I can do 1440p gaming as well, right? Or, I mean, I can do 1440. That's what I'm saying. I know nothing about the resolution in games. Upscaling and interlace, okay. Where is the fucking barn? Okay, you can. Okay, cool. Okay, I have to figure out this out. Okay. I mean, sure, I suppose. Okay.
You have arrived at your destination.
Yeah, but where the fuck is it? Yeah, caveman, right? And play. We got to go to the back of the TV to flip the thing, like when in the Atari days. Okay, this is ridiculous. Do I have to race for it? I don't. No. Oh, the Jurassic Jeep? Yeah, I love this car. Okay. Purchase treasure map. No, I don't think I will. I want my fucking garage. I want my car. Don't make me look for it. I already looked for the goddamn thing when I found the fucking barn that it was in. Now I gotta look for it again? What just happened? My screen just got dark. Oh, is this it? Oh, Quizatch Hatter. I'm terrible at driving. In this game, in these kind of semi games, yeah. There we go. I thought you fixed it for me. All right, friend. Good to see you, buddy. What? Where's my fucking car? How long is it going to take to get the car, motherfucker? I thought that was the whole idea. Was I found it and you fixed it up. Wait, what?
Needs new tires, probably new suspension. I'll call you when it's ready.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck it. How? Oh, fuck you. I do like that you can put cars in and leave gifts for people and shit. I think that's pretty fucking cool. So I could put a car in that barn, so if you found it, you could get a free car. But I don't have any doubles right now, so I'm just going to go race this race. I never thought this game would be something I gave a shit about. Ever. Fucking ever.
If Horizon's events don't satisfy you, then it's time to make your own. Introducing Event Lab.
Thank you, Heretic. I appreciate you being here, buddy. Jaffe, this now turns into gas station simulator. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't tell you what's happening in gas station simulator next week, but it's cool. I mean, it's cool for me. For you guys, you'll be like, yeah, whatever, but it's cool. Well, I'm glad you stayed and hung out, Heretic. Thanks, buddy. Oh, shit, I'm racing a little Herbie Lovebug Volkswagen. How in the fuck am I in first place? That never happens. Like, ever. Well, enjoy it while it lasts, Jaffe. Come on, man. Think positive. Okay. Come on now. Come on now. Man, I cannot make that turn to save my fucking life. Let's try this one. All right, last lap. Come on now. Hee. Yeah, I'm cheating. I bought and played Crazy Taxi on Steam recently. It's very shallow. I mean, it's fun for a few minutes, and then you just lose. I couldn't stick with it. No. Here we go. This is where we usually fuck up. No. Fuck you, motherfucker. Right, I do deserve to win this. Yeah, that's another game I got to go back and play. Spaz's Limnus Gate. Goddamn right. I mean, that's shitty that I had to cheat, but fuck you. I mean, you know, it's in the game, right? So it's not really cheating. I don't know if that's true, but... Put it in manual with clutch. Oh, I can't drive manual.
Hey Taylor, I know you're busy, but I have festival facilities way over capacity. So if you wanted to push for that next big expansion, that would be very helpful.
My girlfriend doesn't believe me that you're originally British. Can you give us a quick demo? Yeah, what a demo how? Fuck you, Eddie, you piece of shit. First place. Remember the gas and breaker analog? Yeah, I know. I don't feather it enough. You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, you mean speak like what I was when I was little? I mean, I can do that. Why does she want me to do that, though? Is she from Mariol? Hey! Hello, pirate! Hello, love! Hello! What do you mean, you cheeky monkey? You don't believe I'm from there? That's crazy. Alright. Am I doing a review? Nah, I mean, I might do an impressions. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really the guy to speak to this game. I mean, I'm such a noob in a game like this that I don't know of what value. I mean, I might just do a quick, you know, impressions video or something. I don't fucking know. No. Wasn't that amazing? That was a great accent. That's right. Yeah, no, I'm... Shit. I remember, man, I've told this story before, but I remember I was in Tommy Tallarico's Ferrari, and we were just driving down some... It wasn't like a dirt road, but it was just like a simple road, and he's just like fucking... He just fucking goes for it, and I was just like, fuck, dude, I was like, I have kids, man. Please don't. I don't want to go that fast. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, I'll put the car in granny mode. I'm like, yes, please put it in granny mode. Because that's about as good as I can do. But in a game, sure. I had an accent back in the day from being from the South. Pactor has a channel? No, I didn't know that. I know he has a show on Sifted. All right, good night, Spaz. What do I drive? I drive a 2003? No, a 2005 Toyota Camry or Corolla or something. I think that's what I drive. Yeah, leave a like on the video, on the stream, Master Wayne. I would appreciate it. Thank you. God damn it, Jeffy. Come on. There's so much to do in this game. It's really cool.
Gotcha. I'll prep Ramiro for an expedition to the dirt racing outpost. Don't get lost in there.
Jungle? We need to find a dirt outpost and a certain big cat I've been chasing.
Turn around when it is safe to do so. In 200
Yeah,
yards,
Tommy's a good dude, for sure.
Turn left.
The one that was brought out at E3, the ice cream truck, I want to say that's the one that we took to the desert in Vegas and blew up. Why haven't I had Tommy on, Mr. K? Honestly, because I want to do a little bit... I want to wait for Amico to come out or get closer. Because I think right now, you know, he's in sales mode. And I want to be able to be more substantive about where he's at with it and what he thinks about the launch and all that. But yes, I totally want to have him on. But I definitely want to have him on. I want to talk about the Amico. I've played it. I love the vision of it. And I actually, if they can actually get the goddamn thing launched, you know, I think it could actually, I know it's weird because I know a lot of hardcore gamers don't see it. And I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. It's a hell of a needle they have to thread. But I can see it working. In a number of, you know, if they can get it right, there is a compelling thing that it would be a system that really doesn't exist right now. It would fill a niche. It's too goddamn expensive, and I don't know if they're really ever going to get it done. But I hope they will. Yeah, I'm still rubbish at this game, but having the arcade settings that the chat suggested, like stability and stuff like that, really makes a difference for me. Then again, the Amico is it's like a, I mean, I'm too tired to pitch it. Look it up, and I'll talk about it on the next show for sure. I've played with it. It's just a very casual gaming machine. All the games are really easy. None of them are online. All of them support local play, same couch co-op and competition. They're very much, you know, they you know, cell phone games at this point look better visually, but that's really not what they're about. It's kind of going for that market that the Wii had, where grandparents could play it and parents could play it, and it was just kind of like, you know, it was a system for everybody, and kind of like what Mr. K says, it's a good system in rec rooms, at camps, game rooms, home with young kids. Yeah, that's what he's going for. Wait, where am I going? As for trouble in getting it launched, I've heard a lot of things, like things they're struggling with, or trying to raise money. They don't have enough money now to launch it, and I don't know if any of that's true. I have no idea. And it doesn't help that, you know, they've had to push it, and obviously a lot of that was COVID, but it's just, you know, it's one of those things that I think it's easy to see if it turned out it never came out. I hope that doesn't happen. And it is real. Like I said, I've played it. People have played it. I could see it. You know, launching hardware is a fucking beast. And, you know, Tommy's never done that before. And it's, you know, but he also never, you know, had a fucking musical show before, and that thing was fucking awesome. So Tommy's a very tenacious motherfucker. I believe he can do it. But I couldn't tell you, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't work, but I hope it does. Okay, I think that's all she wrote for me. I'm getting tired. So, fellas, appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Packer says Tommy has shown it off to him. He thinks it's cool. Yeah, I've gone down there to Intellivision. I've played it a little over a year ago. I know people who are working on it. It's a real thing. And they've made some really cool solves to things like, even if you don't have a controller, if you have the Amico, I can control it on my phone. And I know that sounds terrible, and I'm not allowed to tell you how they've solved it. But let's just say when I was out at Intellivision and I was playing with my phone, what they did allowed me to play in a way that I actually enjoyed playing on my phone more than the Amico controller. That's how easy they transform your phone into a really good controller. So there's a lot to like about it, but it does seem to be like we should be further along, it seems like, as an audience member. But, you know, they're a new company and relatively, I mean, they're new in that way. Yeah, when I was out there. You know, so I don't know, but I'm wishing them the best. I think it's a very cool idea. All right, fellas, I'm out. Be well, be safe. I'll see you guys sometime on videos tomorrow, on a stream this weekend. And yes, as Wolfblood has said, we'll do a horror movie, 1 or 2 horror movies this weekend as well. So stay tuned to the Twitter and all that shit.